Hi everybody, welcome back to Learning English with Atena. Today I'm excited to address some common questions that you may have struggled with as well. Let's get to first question. What are the differences between forever and forever? It's a really easy answer. Forever with a space between the words is the same as forever with no space. But the difference is that one is used in American English and one is used in British English. In British English, you might see for space ever used a lot. And in American English, we don't use a space between the words. So if you're studying American English, I recommend that you use forever with no space. If you are studying British English, I would say it's probably best for you to use the one with a space in between the two words. So let's take a look at some example sentences real quick just to refresh your brain on how we use this word. So we'll use this in the American English sense with no space between the words because I speak American English and we practice American English on this channel. So I was waiting at the store but things took forever. Or I wanted to see this movie forever. Great. So I hope this answers your question about the differences between forever and forever. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What is the difference between wake and awake? Great question. So basically, the difference is that wake is a verb and awake usually is used as an adjective. So let's start with awake first. Awake as an adjective refers to the state of having your eyes open, of not being asleep. So for example, I am awake or he has been awake for 24 hours. So this expression refers to the status of not being asleep. So awake refers to this. On the other hand, to wake, the verb wake refers to causing someone to become awake. So you might also know wake up, to wake up, meaning to open your eyes. We can also use this with other people like to wake up your roommate or to wake up your mom. Something like that we can express in that way to with wake up. Wake with no up also means to cause someone to become awake, like go, wake your roommate. Something like that we can use this, but this use tends to sound a little old-fashioned. We generally today don't say wake your friend or wake the children, as it sounds a little bit too formal. Usually we say wake up your friend or wake up the children. We sound a little bit more casual and more like everyday American English communication. So to wake may still be used here and there today in more polite situations perhaps. Perhaps in some British English expression, and you might also see and hear it used in media that features a time period a few hundred years ago, for example. They might say something like, wake the children, or don't wake the baby, and so on. So you might hear wake used from time to time. But generally, in today's modern American English, we tend to use wake up more. So this is the difference between awake and awake. So awake refers to not being asleep, the condition of not being asleep. And to wake means to cause someone to become awake, right? So I hope that this helps answer your question about the differences between these two. Okay, let's move on to the next question. As far as we know, if we have since, we use present perfect continuous. But what about the verb live? I heard both we've been living here for 2 months and we've lived since 2019 or whatever. Which one is correct? Good question. I see this question all the time, so let's review. First, I want to point out since is not only used in a pattern like this, since it's also used often as the beginning of the sentence or as a connecting word to mean because. So please be careful, since doesn't only have this one use. But let's take a look at the question. So what about the verb live? I want you to not think so much about the verb. Instead, I want you to think about the functions of for and since. So when you use a pattern like we have lived here for 3 months, that sentence is correct because after 4 comes 3 months. That is a duration, a time period, right? So we're talking about a length of time when we use for. However, when you use since, you use it with a past point in time. So this has nothing to do with the verb, the featured verb in the sentence, right? You can just express the same idea using a past point in time as your reference point instead of a duration of time. So for example, you could express the exact same idea with a past point in time. You could say, we've lived here for 3 months, or we've lived here since September. So this express exactly the same idea they just used. For plus duration of time or since plus past point in time. So this has nothing to do with the verb. We can change the verb from live to whatever we need to use in our sentence. The focus is on what comes after for or since. If you want some more information about this, you can Google some present perfect lesson, or you can actually just search on the Learning English with Atena in this YouTube channel. I have 2 videos on the present perfect. I think there might be one that focuses on for and since. So I hope this answers your question about the differences between for and since. Thanks very much for watching this episode. If you like this lesson, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I will see you again next time. Bye.